Afternoon, it's me again, back at Man Cave. Can you hear the mower in the background? She's busy, so I don't want to get in the way. Alright. Where are we now? Yes, this is, we're part way through my Scottish trip of a couple of weeks ago, and in this one I'm moving on from Ballater, but going up to, well, as close to Loch Muick as I could, up through Glen Muick. I couldn't remember just how close I used to be able to get to the loch itself with my coach, but couldn't actually get within view, so I had to take a bit of a stroll to get a view of the loch. Loch Muick is up above Ballater, above Balmoral, and right on the far end is the site of the lodge that Queen Victoria built. Or she had built, I should say, when she was in deep mourning for Prince Albert, and she just took herself up there and locked herself away, and just took herself, just ignored everything because she was in such deep mourning. I'm hoping I've found a photograph from the past of the lodge itself, Glasalt, as it's known, but we'll see if I can get it on there. Also, we have a look at King Charles's little hidey hole, well, not so little, up in the Balmoral estate. It's a place called Burke Hall. Very, very difficult to see. Again, I've got a photograph somewhere from the past to give you some idea of the scale of the place that he stays at. He's been on record as saying that when he comes up with Camilla, he won't be staying in Balmoral, he'll be staying at his own place at Burke Hall. Anyway, so that's, we're moving on from Ballater, and this is, it's just Glen Muick, Loch Muick, M-U-I-C-K, Muick, it's pronounced Muick. You may find it interesting. I found it fascinating when I first found out about it, so again, see what you think and let me know. Alright, see you in the next one anyway. Cheers. Well, good morning, and goodbye Ballater Caravan Park. I'm headed off a day early, as I want to head across to the west, but I'm going to sneak in a little trip locally first. I don't know how interesting it's going to be honest. I had a little run up there last night, and I think maybe I'm expecting a little bit too much from it, but let's see how it goes, shall we? So one last little run through the little town centre here at Ballater. Back over the Dee and onto the South Deeside Road. This is where I switched the camera off yesterday. There's the caravan park over on the other side of the river. Our home for the last 2 nights. Very nice one it is too. The forecast is pretty good for today, not too warm, but certainly dry. the River Dee here on the right. This comes out at Aberdeen, a few miles behind us. Now then, this is where this seat here, this is where Queen Victoria back in the day, where she'd come out on a pony and trap and she'd sit and wait for the battalion that was stationed up here during her stay, and she'd greet them as they came past. Quite often the Gordon Highlanders, Highland Regiment. Yes, so we're going to take a run up to, well, we'll see what we can of it. This is a little run up to up at Glen Muick, M-U-I-C-K, Glen Muick, alongside the River Muick, and up to Loch Muick, which Loch Muick is in the shadow of a mountain I mentioned before, Loch Nagar. And the mountain which, in a literal sense of the word, is connected with, well, I nearly called him Prince Charles again, King Charles III. He's quite well known for having written a children's book, The Old Man of Loch Nagar, and this is where it was set. The Royals have spent a lot of time up here at mainly at Balmoral, at the Balmoral estate, but there are other properties as well that belong to the Royals, one of which is up here on the right hand side across the valley. You can't see much of it. It was a property that was it was owned by his grandmother, the Queen Mother, until she passed away, and after she passed away in 2002, Charles, he took possession of it really, and it's his preferred place to stay when he's up here. When he's up here at Balmoral, he has said, he's reported as having said that when him and Camilla are up here on their visits, he won't reside in Balmoral Castle. He will prefer to stay at his other place. It's quite a grand place. Down on the right, you can see through the, maybe see the white building through the trees there. I wonder if he's around, because a lot of police are around. It's called Burke Hall. You see the fence, the wooden fencing on the right here. This was erected after Charles took over possession of the place to stop people from looking down into his property. A lot of people thought it was a bit of a spoil sport for that, because people like to, well, I can say for certain from my own experience that coach drivers love to point out Charles's residence to the passengers, but of course the fence went up and can't see anything of it. But that's Burke Hall across there. It is quite a big place. So that's Charles's retreat. I was intending getting off the bike and peering over the fence to try and see the house, but with the presence of the police at the moment, I don't think it's probably a very good idea. So I think it's more prudent to carry on. Now I'm sure I really shouldn't be doing this, but over the fence and in the distance is the white building that is Burke Hall, which is the Highland hideaway of King Charles and Camilla, and that's the best I can get so far as the view of it is concerned. I'm sure I shouldn't be getting this, to be honest, but either way, that's Burke Hall, our current King's Highland home. So there we go. But it's a lovely, it's a beautiful stretch of road. This is another one of my roads, single track with passing places. Certainly more interesting with a coach, a whacking great big six wheel coach, but it's not impractical. Believe me, it really isn't. So yes, Burke Hall is King Charles's Highland retreat, effectively, up here, and further up at the top of the road, at the end of the road, at Loch Muick, is what was Queen Victoria's retreat. But her reason for the retreat she had up here was because she wanted somewhere to hide away and mourn the passing of her beloved Prince Albert. Who died just 14 years after they had Balmoral built. So she had a hunting lodge built on the far shores of Loch Muick, and I have walked across there a good few years ago. Two of us actually, we did Loch Nagar in winter, and as we came off, I knew it was there, so we detoured off to come down to Loch Muick and walk past. We walked right past the front door of the Hunt. It's a massive place, it really is. Glas and Alt. She shortened the name of it to Glas Alt. But like I say, I'm not in any condition to walk across the length of the loch to get to it, so I don't know what we'll be able to see, if anything. So it's just about the ride up here, really, this one. Through some absolutely stunningly beautiful scenery. I don't know if you can see through the trees, but down below us we've got the Falls of Muick. Again, it's spelt M-U-I-C-K. It's about as close as I can get, to be honest, but you can see the white water of the falls down there. Those are the Falls of Muick. There is a footpath down there, but as I've said, sadly I'm in no state to do much walking these days. My back problem has reared its ugly head again, so I've got to wait and see what the surgeons say. Well, we're now on the high moorland, at the same level as Loch Muick. Loch Muick hides behind the trees out in the middle distance. Up to the right, sadly, Loch Nagar is not clear of cloud, but you can see the snow up there. Those will be the last snows of winter, just the last fingers of snow clinging on. There's still a little bit of height to the mountain, so quite a lot of the snow is still above cloud level. It does get serious up here snow wise. You can tell by the snow poles at the side of the road these are put into to show the snowplow driver where he needs to aim between. Keeping my eyes peeled all the time for red deer. There's lots of red deer up here. Partly because keep my eyes peeled for them, partly because it's great to see them, but also it's nice to see them before they get too close, because I have been fetched off my bike on one occasion by red deer. Ironically, that wasn't in Scotland, that was down in North Staffordshire, about 2 miles outside the village I live at. Now we have to park up out of sight of Loch Muick itself, here at the Spittal of Glen Muick. As I said the other day on the way up, Spittal is sort of taken from a French word for shelter or refuge, quite often in the mountains. Right, I'll take a stroll across there and see if I can see from the end of the track. Bear with. Well, sadly we can't see Glassholt, the hunting lodge. You can see in the distance Loch Muick itself. Glassholt is built around the corner, out of sight. She really made a good job. I'll try and find a still photograph of the lodge, so you know what I'm rambling on about. So that's Loch Muick in front of us, and then up in the clouds is the mountain Loch Nagar. Biggest mountain in the area is Loch Nagar. So yes, I'm sorry I couldn't get across there. I got all these big ideas, but not to be. Never mind. Onwards and westwards. On the way back, there's 1 or 2 points of interest I'll be stopping at just to show off. But so far as Royal Deeside is concerned, that's about put the tin hat on it. So let's see what we come across. Thanks for watching for this one if you have done, and I'll see you in a bit.